Hello everyone, and welcome to your Monday night Plastic Crack podcast. As you can see, we're technically two men down today, but we'll explain why in a second. But we have been joined by Charlie from Wargames Atlantic. You all right?
Hopefully, I can make up for at least some of the.
I think you're going to.
Of the other guys.
I think you're going to. Yeah. So just to sort of quickly let everyone know, so the reason Ken isn't here is because he's got a note from his mum, and the reason that Dom isn't here is they're both. Well, to be fair, they're both winging their way across the Atlantic. I think Dom's actually already landed because they're gone to Adepticon. So
very jealous.
They're over there at the minute, and I know a bunch of people from the chat. So if we see anything from Shakos and Sprues, if he joins in, then he's doing it from from the plane probably. And if Dom does bother to tune in, then they are doing it. Is it Milwaukee that they've gone to?
Yeah, Dom's in Chicago. Isn't Dom spending some time in Chicago?
He's been sending us pictures, but
yeah,
I don't know. He sent me a picture of an American football stadium, but I don't know what that means. I'm so ignorant when it comes to American football. I can barely cope with rugby. So
it does nothing for me either. I won't lie.
But we wish them luck, so we'll be getting a full report on Adepticon in a fortnight when they're back and not jet lagged. That's the plan there. But anyway, we really appreciate everyone tuning in. Of course, welcome if you're watching on the catch up. You can find links to, I don't know, I've put the link to Wargames Atlantic down in the description. I assume everyone knows who Wargames Atlantic is, but if you don't and you're watching this and you're curious, there's a link down below. There are links to my channel, Steve's channel. I even put Dom and Ken's in there, even though they're not here. So they're there as well, and you can do all the other stuff like and all of that fun stuff. We are of course sponsored by Boards and Swords, and you can put the fun little code PCP5 in when you check out there, and you get 5% off. Whatever other kind of discount they're offering at the time. I'm going to be down there this weekend. It's going to be we're going to be having some games. We're playing against Paul. You're not coming, are you, Steve? You're not venturing out. It's not time for you to enter the world.
No, it's not. I've been out a couple of times this year, so I've done my mingling so far this year. So
mingled enough. We've been joined by quite a lot of people. So I normally would go through and do all the hellos. I'm just going to do a big hello to everybody. Thank you so much for joining in, because I really want to start interrogating Charlie. Now we had Charlie on in September 2024. That was when you came on last, which was a bit mad. And you got one of the highest responses from all of the chat. I think it's still our most the largest number of chat messages that we've received.
Thank you.
It was also the longest amount of time a guest talked without one of us speaking.
That's awesome.
So you got
I'll beat this today, no problem.
That's fine. That's brilliant. No, that's great. No, that's amazing. Now you had us completely, I won't say fooled, because you didn't give anything away, but you teased us last time. You showed us a lot of stuff, and we got some stuff to share. And I should say to people as well, hang around, because we've got a little exclusive to show off, which we'll do in the second half of the show after the news, which is very exciting and very, very cool. I know especially two people in the chat who are going to lose their mind when they see it. But also, yes, you teased us about something that was fairly big coming out that we were definitely going to like, and you weren't half wrong, and I'm going to show, because I know exactly what it was now, and it was this. Of course. Now I would have shown the front of the box.
I think I'm still wearing the same jumping.
Yeah, we wouldn't have that amazing picture on the bag, which reminds me of the wargaming mags I used to watch. Read.
Yeah.
Was that actually? Were you posing for that, or were you actually mid game?
No, obviously we were mid-game,
Absolutely.
We were. It was actually very last minute. We were trying to find something that worked for the back of the box, and I can't remember. It might have been myself. It might have been Gaz. It could have even been Andy. Why don't we just try this? So we quickly, put something together, staged it, took a few snaps. And then it went on the back of the box. I think it is nice because it has that kind of, bit of an old school feel to it. The guy we use for the box design, Steve Beckett, is a very accomplished graphic designer. And I think he did a really good job of kind of modernizing what is quite an old school,
Yeah.
shot, I guess.
I think it's a cracking idea because there's so many times that you get a box now and there's not actually a picture like on the back of it. You maybe get
of somebody
a
actually
bit of
playing a
artwork,
game.
but I know it sounds such a simple thing. It's like, here's the game being played here and the models. This is what your battlefield should, this is what it'll look like. It does everything that you need. So I think before we start poking you with a stick and asking you to for those people who are maybe joining in who haven't seen you before online, have you got can you introduce yourself, let us know what it is you do at Wargames Atlantic, and also if someone isn't actually aware of who Wargames Atlantic are, which would be surprising given the last sort of 2 years, 18 months, very quickly let them know.
So I am the COO, the Chief Operating Officer. We have some funny titles as well. What's mine again? Chief Operations Overlord or something like that. And it's a title for the sake of a title. When you need to talk to people that are interested in titles, you kind of have a title to give them. It's that kind of title,
Yeah.
So I predominantly look after sales, marketing. So I'm really sorry, guys. I have my daughter in here, just because there's loads going on at home, and she's just told me I need to be a bit more quiet. Right, that's no more interruptions, please. Okay, thank you. And if I do start shouting at somebody called Barney, it's my dog, because he had an operation last Thursday to have bladder stones removed.
No.
He thinks he's fine. As far as he's concerned, he could run a marathon tomorrow. So if you hear me shouting at somebody called Barney, it's because he's doing something he shouldn't be doing when he's supposed to be lying down resting. So sorry, I should have said that before I got started. There you go. If I get interrupted, I do apologize. It probably won't be for too long. So I predominantly look after sales and marketing. But obviously I work with the company owner, Tony, in all of our strategic plans. So that's everything from what products are we making to when are we going to release it, how are we going to release things, what our kind of strategy is around all of that stuff. For example, we talked a little bit off stream about how at the beginning of the year we just decided to do away with pre-orders. So I have a terrible habit of having to be involved in everything. And Tony's quite good at keeping me out of some things so that I'm not trying to get involved in everything. But we're quite a tight team. We're quite a small, quite a lean team out of design. Ultimately, if anything goes wrong, if we do things, anything silly, etc., in the book, if it doesn't stop with me, it stops with Tony, and I'm kind of there to just provide that bit of buffer, so that Tony doesn't get blamed for everything. I can be blamed for some things. And then, as far as Wargames Atlantic's concerned, we are 7 years old this year. We've gone, since yes, it will be 7 years. 2019, the company was formed. I think the first products actually released at the very beginning of 2020, which was a box of skeletons and a box of Raumjäger, which are sci-fi dudes that have a bit of a German influence. And the company started with the business model of producing plastic kits for things that nobody else is kind of willing to do at that moment in time. So trying to kind of plug gaps in the market, which was at the time a very sound business model. It helped the business grow. We are very focused on hard plastic. That is what we do. We think we do it really well, but every new kit we make, we learn something new, and we get a little bit better at it. Hopefully, I'll be able to explain some of that as we go through things this evening. We have about 100, I think it's about 110 products in the catalog now, ranging from fantasy to sci-fi to a myriad of historical periods. We have games which we've brought on board over the last couple of years. One of which, or in fact, flagship is Baron's War. We've got the Qua, which is the little anteater dudes who have been fantastic for us again. And we've very recently released our first kind of homegrown set of rules, which is a sci-fi I say competitive. I don't mean it in like it's a tournament game. It's a sci-fi sport, which is what it's like, how it's competitive. Because
I think of it as kind of like Running Man meets Battle Royale.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like.
You know, I was it's just like I went away and then watched Running Man straight afterwards. Normally I wouldn't put a question up this early. I'm just gonna have to put this one up because Dom has tuned in and he's got something very special to ask, which he's wondering if you could do some highly detailed and hugely laced Napoleonic drummers, because he's asking for a friend, Steve.
Is it possible to red card
detailed and hugely laced Napoleonic drummers?
54 mil, I think. Yeah, 54 millimeter ones would be good. Can you red card him? Technically, it's not in the same continent, so yeah. I think you can do that.
Dom, you're on very, very thin ground.
But to be fair, we don't want to antagonize him because he's the person that puts this onto Spotify, because I forgot to ask him how to do it before he left.
Bless him. So he's got to do it on his holiday.
Exactly. Well, I forgot to ask. So either it will go up. He said we can't red card him. Okay, apparently that's written into our contracts. No, sorry, I interrupted there. But yes, the Death Fields, very much. I've watched the games and it's got very much the feel of sort of like battle royale sports, kind of like a blood bowly.
I mean, that's of course, that's kind of what it's born out of. I always kind of like refer to it as like laser tag, like hardcore mode
with bullets. Yes,
with projectiles and stuff. But yeah, it's been really good fun doing that. The rules are completely free. There may be, hopefully there will be like a full starter set for that to kind of go into stores in the future. It's certainly on the cards in terms of we've talked about it, but it's not in the works right now. The fun thing is the rules exist, the models exist. We're making more models for Death Fields. We've got some scenery coming out. All we need to do is chuck it all in a box and chuck it out the door. So it would probably happen quite quickly if and when we decide to do a starter set. But it was just it was an opportunity to kind of give something back to all the people that always ask about Death Fields and will there ever be a Death Fields game and stuff. So myself and Gaz worked with Andy and George to put together what I think is a really innovative game system. Like there's no turn, there's no round. You just keep playing until the game finishes. There's loads of objectives, and you're playing until those objectives are met, and it's quite frantic and furious. And it's usually over in kind of 40 to 50 minutes, sometimes a bit quicker.
Charlie, I was going to say, it ticks every one of my small playing area, low figure count, fast and brutal. That's my type of war game.
It's really, really good fun. I mean, obviously I'm biased as anything, but I do really enjoy it. And it wouldn't be wrong to say that it will definitely get reskinned for other things in the future. I love the idea of reskinning it for 54 mil Sharpe. Obviously the scenarios would be very different. It would have to be narrative at that kind of scale. But yeah, we'll see. Well, there's a lot to come, I think, from that rule set. We've got a few tweaks to make to it that we've found kind of post launch that will just make it a little bit slicker. But yeah, so that's kind of where we are now. We have a factory in the UK. We have a factory in the US. So we manufacture the injection plastics in both the UK and the US. We print our cardboard for the UK and the rest of the world in the UK. We print the boxes for the US in the US. The US production pretty much only handles the US, whereas the UK production handles the UK, Europe, and the rest of the world. Amazingly, it is more cost effective to ship product from the UK, even to the Cayman Islands, which I learned today. And
Right.
we're just finishing off the damned fulfillment, so we're kind of into like the rest of world people at the moment, apart from a few leftovers that need bits that we haven't got. But there was a one came up for the US for the Cayman Islands, and it was twice as expensive to send it from the US to the Cayman Islands than it was to send it by a Royal Mail from the UK. So yeah, it's
I wonder
it's
if
a
the
weird
Royal
thing,
Mail
but
can find the Cayman Islands before they could find your flat, Steve.
International postage never fails to boggle me. It's where we're really lucky to have Steve at Sarissa as a partner in our fulfillment, because the guy is an absolute genius when it comes to international fulfillment. It is definitely his calling. So yeah, and we're, like I say, we're pretty much a predominantly remote team. Everybody works remotely, apart from myself and Gaz now have the studio, which is like 5 minutes from my front door.
Nice.
And then Gaz lives down the road, so it's pretty close for Gaz too. But that was we took that space out at the beginning of last year, predominantly at the time to do photography, because we had Baron's War. Well, it was for the King John book and stuff, but obviously box photography and so on and so forth. And then it was always the desire to kind of develop the marketing side of the business, which is, as you mentioned, there's more YouTube stuff going on now.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like Wargames Atlantic is just going into like phase 2, where we switched gears, we've changed tracks. We're on the kind of B side now, before the next album. And we're just trying to kind of gear up again. We've got loads of big plans for this year. We've got big plans going into 2027. And then we're starting to kind of lay down the groundworks for beyond then. So that's the business in a nutshell as to kind of where we are right now.
That's comprehensive. That's just, I think you did that.
That was light for me.
That was comprehensive. Well, I mean, what I'll do is give you a chance to have a breather, and then what we'll do is we'll go through, have a little look at. Obviously, we'll look at the big release, like the Baron's War release, and everything, and then we'll sort of chat through, what else has been going on. But just while we give Charlie a second, because Dom isn't here, no one's going to have painted anywhere near as much as he is. But I will try. And Steve, I know you've worked on a couple of things. So what have you got done in the last week? Was it historical or was it grim and weird? That's the
grim and weird is definitely the order of the day. Well, order of the current project. Yes, everyone knows I'm currently in the middle of kit bashing and immersed in the world of Inquisitor 28 and Inquisimonda and all kinds of oddness. So I've been buying loads of Games Workshop kits and all bits and pieces and all kinds of oddness just for kit bashing. So it's like reliving my youth. It really is, going back to Inquisitor. That we only ever played 2 games of Inquisitor, and then everyone gave up on it.
But it made an impression.
It did on me, not on them. I mean, it was 2001. In fact, the last time we played Inquisitor was that night. When did England beat Germany? It was like 7-1 or something. That 2001, 2002.
No, it might be before that. The only reason I know that, I think it must have been about 2000, because it was referenced in the film Dog Soldiers. So I remember that, because at the end of the film, it's got the photo, isn't it, of the Sun newspaper, and it says, "Well, the platoon," and then England 5, Germany 0. I think that's about
it was
2001, maybe. The chat.
It was around about that time. I always remember we were at my mate's house. That was on, and we were playing Inquisitor, and they were more interested in football than Inquisitor. I mean, come on. Yeah, bit of a
how very dare they?
I know.
There we go. I knew it was going to happen. 2000. There we go.
It couldn't have been 2000. When did Inquisitor come out then? No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. I can't believe I'm talking about football.
That's 2001.
It wasn't a tournament game. It was a because it would have been during the winter. Anyway, I'll check it later. Anyway. So that's what I've been up to this week.
Oh,
nice.
Wow. That is very cool. That is suitably grim.
So two of those are out straight at the box, and three a kit. No, two a kit bash, three are straight at the. No, three kit bashes, two straight at the box. So there's. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. I just stick things together and hope it works.
It seems to work.
the guy in the green is a cross, but I don't know. It was sort of Harkonnen influence from Dune.
Yeah.
Along with Naked City, that weird sci-fi film?
I'm not sure. That might be something else you've watched.
I know it's a band called Naked City with John Zorn. He plays metal sax. Then what else is there? So I actually made this last week on the podcast. It's an Escher gang that turns into an assassin, but an arm swap and a head from the Breacher Kill Team box, or a female head from that. Dead simple to do. A little bit of green stuff around the neck, but apart from that, all just went together really well. What else is there? Completed an Arco Flagellant.
Nice.
Again, that's just straight at the box. And those tendril things, all you got to do is look at them and they snap. I mean, the wind changes. You open a door, you look at it in the wrong way, and they fly off. But they're really good. But I decided to get out some of my old scenery stuff, some of my not Space Weirdo scenery.
Yes.
And do some nice photographs.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very, very cool.
I just reminded me of the Inquisitor, the artwork and the Inquisitor rulebook and the photographs. I thought that was
that's brilliant.
Quite a fun. And this is the one that I spent an afternoon kit bashing last Saturday. I've got no idea what that is.
I don't think it knows either.
It just sort of happened, and I painted it on Saturday. Again, I think it was going to start out as a demon host, and it just took on a life of its own. I think that's four kits that's built out of. But again, I've been using that new enamel washes. When I've been painting, it's quickened up my painting so much, because once you've taken the wash off, you don't really have to do a lot. If you want to keep it that horrible muted grim dark style, you don't really add a lot of highlights. No. It just keeps it. And I've actually got to try and stop myself at times from over highlighting, because I don't want to lose that awful muted grim shade that it's coming out with. But yeah, that's my week's painting.
Yeah.
I've got more that I've built over the weekend. I picked up a box of the Adeptus Arbites for Kill Team, so I'm working on those, just bits and pieces. I'm currently building something tonight that I was on my lunch today, and it just popped into my head, and so straight after work I was out in my bits box, and I've almost built it. It's going to be a piece of scenery for Inquisitor. It's going to be very, very gross. But yeah, that's me. That's all I've done.
Well, I managed a few things. Now these, people know I did the War Host video because I got the orcs. So these are, how should we say? So was it aligned with the Baron's War, but just slightly greener? So these are from so these are the War Host orcs. I had a stupid amount of fun working on these. It was nice to paint. I was about to say it was nice to paint something that didn't have chainmail and a sword, but they do have chainmail and they do have swords. But they're green. So I really enjoyed these, but I tried to sort of do some different stuff with them. So I really enjoyed working on these. These are really nice sculpts by Mr. Paul Hicks, who of course was on the stream the other week. And then I enjoyed doing these so much, I then cracked out the archers, and I did the archers as well. So these were great fun. And I just really I think the last time I properly painted orcs was about 1998. I did some Lord of the Rings ones, but I think I just rushed those out as quick as possible. These I really enjoyed, especially this one at the front here. I just think he looks sad. And I found it. Do you remember Paul told us that on one of the quivers he'd sculpted like a face, so it looked like a skin. Yeah, look, there it is. The guy, it's there. I didn't notice it until I was holding him upside down to paint something. It's like, why is his quiver looking at me? So yeah, I really enjoyed those. So I've actually only got one, because I've got a starter warband, so I've actually only got one unit left to paint. So I figured I might as well just crack on with it, and then I'll be having some games with it as well. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's my week. Productive, but I've been getting things ready to go down to Derby at the weekend, yeah, hopefully I might pick up some more of this stuff at Salute. So there we go. I should say, of course, if you guys do have any questions for Charlie, then do pop them into the chat. I've seen a few already that have come sailing in, so do pop them down there. Dom, I'm not going to give him a flaming torch. Things will be set on fire, but it'll be not by design, probably. Anyway, so that's enough about the boring hobby stuff of me and Steve. So for the week, but we have Charlie here to again interrogate. What were they saying? This is from a very different radio for the Archers. Got it. Okay. Yeah. God. As sort of talk about that, I suppose the first thing that we should ask about, we did touch on it slightly, is the Barons' War. I was at Salute last year, and you had the starter set, because you announced that starter set to a great sort of try. It went amazing. I saw people at Salute, they were just grabbing them. I had to go and get mine. I was torn, because there were two places I want to be in Salute, and they were either end of the hall, so I had to go and sort of loiter near and to go and get mine. How big has that been? How has that gone?
Amazing. I mean, I suppose the hard thing about saying something like this is it's the thing that every company wants to be able to say, and if I was going to lie about it, this is exactly what I would say. But beyond our wildest expectations, and I think the proof in that is we cannot keep it in stock. We run thousands of units at a time, and now because we split production originally to deal with a certain man's tariff nonsense, and then discovered actually there was a huge of other benefits in doing it that way. Thanks, cheers Donald, that actually helped us out quite a bit, inadvertently. So you would imagine we would half our production then, because 50% of our business does come from the US, and then 50% is everywhere else. Obviously, of which a large portion is made up of the UK and Europe, and then there's everywhere else in the world. So we, instead of it kind of halving our production, it just, with things like Barons' War, it just doubled our production, because we, in order to try and maintain stock for at least a few months, so there's obviously there's logistics that have to go with this. So the insert is what we would kind of refer to as the mold, but the factory is actually called the insert. And then the insert goes in a tool, and each the insert has to have a specific tool, and then the tool goes in the machine, and then the machine runs the tool in the mold or the insert. So the tools are really expensive and really heavy. When we first started production in the UK, we had a new tool made, and because we hadn't fully decided where we were going with production, it got delivered to the studio, and I mean, it was only about like a foot by a foot box, maybe a little bit bigger than that, maybe kind of like a foot and a half, but it's solid steel. And like Gaz is quite a big chap. If you've seen him in the photos, he's got a lot of upper body strength. And then there's me with a, average middle-aged man's upper body strength. And we could not lift it between the pair of us. We actually had to we had to hire somebody to come with a special tool to help lift it and then get it off to the factory and stuff. So what the issue we have is in the time it takes to run the mold in the UK, but obviously box all that product up and stuff, and then we immediately ship the insert, the mold, to the US, and by the time it has run in the US and they've made a bunch of Barons War in the US, it's running out of stock in the UK again.
Right.
So we have to send the mold back to the UK again. And it sounds like a logistical nightmare. It's a lot better than it used to be, because we used to run all of our plastic in the US and then air freight the plastic over to the UK to do fulfillment in the UK for everywhere else. So we're shipping a lot less backwards and forwards now, which is great. But we are constantly caught out with the Barons War. And every time we make more, because you think, well, Charlie, why don't you just make more then, so that you don't run out? But we do. We make more, and then it runs out again. It's like, what is the number? And then you're always a little bit scared to push the production too far, because what if the last time was the peak of the the wave? The bubble has popped, and now it'll just settle into what everything else does is a few hundred units a month. And it just hasn't happened yet. We just haven't found that steady medium with Barons, which is great. I'm going to stress, like, a great problem to have. It sadly just means every now and then we run out. I say every now and then. It seems to be like a 2 to 3 monthly cycle where we run out of stock. And because obviously we're not just running Barons War. It'd be fine if we were just running Barons War stuff. But on top of Barons War, we've got that 100-odd products that I mentioned that we need to keep restocked. We've then got any new products that we're trying to make as well, that we're trying to produce. The factory in the UK has 3 machines running. The factory in the US has 2 machines running, which means they can only run 3 molds at any one time in the UK, 2 molds at any one time in the US. And it's just a massive balancing act. So the Barons War has been fantastic. We're very, very close to releasing what will be, I think, as big as second edition was for Barons War again, which is the King John supplement.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And it adds so much to the game system. We've just finished last week recording a load of faction deep dives where we look at every single faction from the King John book. So we go through the feudal European retinue, because it's changed ever so slightly. There's a couple of new things added in. There's then the Flemish, there's the Poitevin, the Welsh, the Scottish, the mercenaries, the outlaws, 7 new factions. But you can also have combined retinues as well, which is really cool. So you could take a little bit of, and there's a really cool table, where it's like, ooh, can my Scottish ally with the Welsh, for example, or et cetera, et cetera. And as we've been doing those faction deep dives, myself and Gaz, and you'll see them in the videos as they get launched, and we'll be releasing those on the lead up to the book actually going on sale. Which is weeks.
I'm just gonna pop this up because I've got there we go. I've got the.
That's it. Yeah.
Now there it is.
It is weeks away from being released, and it is going to completely change the game. You go from having this one retinue list where you can customize through abilities, and obviously what units you choose to take. but
Yeah.
ultimately you're all building from the same resource, right? You're all building from the same list. And then you're going to move to this, the King John version of the game, where you have 7 factions to choose from. And within each of those factions, there's a list of abilities that are unique, as well as the existing generic list of abilities from the core game. Excuse me. And then a load of units and stuff within those factions that are unique to those factions. And it is... it's such a good piece of work. I can't wait to release it for people to get it.
The bits and bobs that have been shared with it, you know, Andy chatting about it, and it puts on there, and it just looks like it's someone's just put Ivanhoe, but yes, you know, but it's kind of just like oozing character, and it can, you
So
know,
much.
it looks, I mean, I was especially pleased to see that the even though I refer to them all as horrible bastards, my main horrible bastard is in the center there at the back with his red in the red with his shield. You know, the bastard of bastards. So his old folks there. But no, it's. I know a lot of people are. I know this question is going to come up a lot, so I'm just going to share it now because people can ask. People are going to are wondering if you can share if it's out for Salute.
Yeah, so I hate doing this now because never say never, right?
Yeah.
But we agreed today that at Salute, we will very hopefully have, very likely, I mean, we'll have the book because the book's been printed. It's in the warehouse. There's, I think we've got about 12,000 copies.
Oh, wow.
So we will have the book there. If we can, we are aiming to put it on sale for the rest of the world as well. The Friday, because everything goes for us, everything goes on sale on a Friday. The Friday before Salute, and that will be alongside a retinue box.
Hang on, I've got that here because this one, yeah,
that's the one.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
is the
very
one,
cool.
which includes the new mounted and new foot command frames, and then we'll also have the 2 separate products: the mounted command set and the foot command set. So all kind of 4 products will hopefully be at Salute. At the very least, the King John book will be at Salute. But the hope and the plan is for everything to go on sale the Friday beforehand. And people will be able to pick it up at Salute. And Andy will be there, so you can force him to sign it, which embarrasses him profusely, which I love. So please do. Gaz will be there with cameras to take pictures of it happening and everything. So.
Did Andy force you to put William Marshall? Is it everything that do about is that the deal? Is every single thing that gets released has to have William Marshall?
I have a real sweet spot for William Marshall as well. I won't lie. I found myself. I was walking home on Friday, picking the kids up from school, and with another parent. And he was telling me, so for Easter, what do we do for Easter? Oh, for Easter, we're going to Pembroke for my mother-in-law's birthday. She was like really into history, so we're going to take her around the castles and stuff. That's really interesting. Let me tell you about a man, the Earl of Pembroke, and it's. I was very entertained myself by boring this poor sod to death.
I do that, but I also do it for a living as well. So I had someone we had someone who was doing away work in London, and the job he was on finished early. He was like, "Oh, what should I do?" I was like, "You should go to the Temple Church in London." And with William Marshall. Who's William Marshall? This is an archaeologist. You know, I'm not expecting him to know. It's like, well, he served 4 kings, and he did this, and he did this. I know I told this story. I'll get back into this, but I got recommended one of those random AI history videos that just pop up that, you know, they're rubbish basically, and it was one on William Marshall, and I clicked on it, and it's no relation, and the first person who commented was Andy, basically having a go at it, just like he never did this, or he wasn't there, he wasn't there, or something like that. And I was like, it's just brilliant. There was no wargaming connection at all. The first person in there, like, you know, probably about a minute after the video released.
He's not obsessed at all. No, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. No, that's very cool. And I mean, the Baron's War was something that I'd looked at as people know, I love my medieval history, my medieval sort of wargaming, and then really when sort of second edition got announced and you did that box, it was like the perfect reason to get into it, as if there wasn't one already. But I was like, no, that's definitely done it. There's a set, and we've really enjoyed playing that over the last year. Like, it's swiftly becoming like one of our favorite rule sets and everything. Didn't Chuck Norris pay William Marshall? Should do.
I should do,
You
definitely.
should do. No, but it's
Might have to
cool.
work on his English accent.
It's been big. I've seen it get picked up in a lot of places, and people who aren't even necessarily big into historicals picking up Baron's War, and because I think it's got that nice crossover with the list building that some people like the narrative play. So, Steve, you've picked it up, haven't you?
I did, yeah.
You went and picked it up,
thoroughly
yeah.
enjoyed it. I'm about 14 figures away from completing the first 2 residues.
Ooh,
Lovely,
nice.
lovely figures. I've even bought some medieval scenery for it as well. Going all
Wow,
in.
look at that.
But no, that's because as everyone knows, I'm not a big battle person. I much prefer skirmish games, and I saw everyone playing it, and really enjoyed the battle reports. Picked it up. It was more of it was retail therapy after that horrible lurgy I picked up in Derby. So I thought, I'm feeling miserable. I'll pick this up. So I bought a copy, and I just sat down the next day, just read through the rules. Fantastic, really cracking rule book, and the figures are brilliant. I've really enjoyed painting them. So yeah, very close to getting the first retinue or the first 2 done. Get my mate round here for some medieval tomfoolery.
Excellent.
Well, I know, because we've got a few, because you've sent me some pictures, and I do want to share these. So, because we could probably chat Baron's War and chat all of that, but obviously Wargames Atlantic make many other things which we've chatted about before. So, shall I share where is he? Where is he? Here he is. Shall I share this picture of this individual that you've sent me? Now, obviously, you've released the first model in this series, and now we have. There he is.
There he is.
Look at him.
All his. So this is the 28 mil Rifleman Harper. So this isn't Sergeant Harper. It's Rifleman Harper. So for those who don't know, we have the license to Sharpe, both book and TV, which is great. And the what seemed like the most sensible place to start was at the very beginning of the TV series. It means we can stick Sean Bean's picture on the boxes, which is, why not, right? So the set comes with a 54 mil version and a 28 mil version. So there's the 54 mil. 54 mil can only really be built as he is there. Obviously, much bigger parts and stuff, but I think the face on this one actually beats that of Sharpe. For me, in terms of likeliness, I guess is the correct terminology. But Bill Thornhill's been doing the sculpting, and he's absolutely nailed Harper. And there's the 2 versions you can build. So you can build a 28 mil both ways. I can't decide which is my favorite. I'm really torn between the 2. The same body, but has managed to give it a completely different, look
cool.
by just changing the heads. And
I don't know. I don't know which way round I'd do it. I mean, obviously, the only sane answer is to buy 2 and then build both. I want the unhatted one and the shakerless one. No, I mean that's very cool.
That's absolutely fan. It like you say, Darrow O'Malley. It just looks like him.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah,
it's uncanny how much it looks like him.
It does.
I mean, the painter as well
so cool.
Is an absolute legend of a painter, based out in New Zealand. Chris Hindmarsh, he's called, and he just is an absolutely outstanding painter. So yeah, really excited. So he will be going on sale on Friday. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, because we've done away with pre-orders, he'll be going on sale and is available to ship in both the UK and the US from the end of the week. 2 seconds. Do you need some help?
That's amazing. Steve, you were watching With Nail and I the other day, weren't you? Isn't he? He's in With Nail and I, isn't he?
Matt was watching it. It's one of my favorite films. Yeah, he's the they have
he's the guy who accosts them in the pub.
He accosts them in the pub and berates them with some rather foul language.
Kind of like with that face there.
Exactly, yeah. I hadn't seen that for ages, and then when it was the pub scene, I was like, "Oh my god, it's Harper!" I'd forgotten he was in this. Yeah, great.
That's so cool. That is very, very cool. Well, what we'll say is to people, it's just stay tuned for the second half. If you like that, stay tuned. All right, for stay tuned, because I know that there was I have to find it. There are so many starred comments. It's nuts. There was a comment in here that was asking about Sharpe and you know, would there be any more figures? So hopefully that's that person. I will find your comment. Don't know where it went. So keep. Oh, there we go. It was Andy. There we go. So Andy Sykes. So there you go. But stay tuned. And we'll have it changed. So how was the Sharpe figure sort of received?
Really, really well. Again, one of those products that just genuinely surprised us in its response. Obviously it's a weird one because we went a bit left field with it by doing 54mm and 28mm, just to see what people felt when we did that, and it seems to have been received really well. Again, like with Harper, Sharpe can be built a couple of ways in 28mm, and then a quite a dashing 54mm to go with it. And we've sold thousands of them internationally, which is fantastic. I actually should look at the demographic split on that, just out of curiosity. Is it more kind of UK European, or is it really truly international? And does it stack up with what our generic sales are, which is 50% US? I'll have a look, and next time we get together, remind me to let you know.
Absolutely. Sorry.
Really well. Is really well. And we'll be doing as many from the first show, and then we'll move on to the second, and we'll just keep moving through the shows. We'll probably even go and start at the beginning with the books, and do Sharpe's Tiger and stuff.
That would be cool.
Probably my favorite book actually is Sharpe's Tiger. And there's so much fun stuff we could do with that, in terms of poses and is it, do you do Sharpe in a cell, like
you do Sharpe in every possible situation? He just chooses to do more
learning to read and stuff.
Is Bernard Cornwell I know he's probably got a team of people. Does he see the models? Does he just have to sign them off or something? Or?
We've shared some of the stuff backwards and forwards, but the license is actually held by a company in the UK. It's a really, really old license, so they are sorry, dogs. No, stop it! Dogs are doing what you shouldn't be doing. They hold the license to produce merchandise, and then obviously we've licensed from them to produce miniatures. So the sign off goes to them, and then they obviously have a responsibility to do stuff with what we share them. But as long as they tell us they're happy, it kind of just comes comes back, and they've been great to work with so far. The thing that was the most difficult to get sorted was actually taking pictures from the show to use on the box. But in terms of signing off likeliness, it's been great so far. And we were really lucky with another thing that we'll have to talk about later, and a certain individual's involvement and stuff. But I'll explain that, maybe later on in the show if we have time.
No, totally cool.
But it's been a really easy license to work with so far. Touch wood, all those things.
That's very cool. Well, I wanted to share now, as you know from watching this, Steve Steve likes the things that are weird, and you sent me some other pictures. Now,
Ooh.
if Dom, I'm doing this. I'm contractually obliged to act on behalf of Dom and be so it's weird. Whereas Steve, I know is going to love this. So I'm going to share this, and then I'll let Charlie take it away.
Oh,
Yes,
ribbons.
yeah.
Look at that.
Now, this is one of the most fun kits I've built in a long, long time. It's a time-consuming build because if you I wish I'd sent you another photo because I've built the same figure in a completely different pose where it's like it's stood on its toes on its left leg with a big axe in its right hand and a shield in its left arm, all from the same set, the same kit, and it's like as though it's like bringing an axe down, to smash up a German tank or something. So the leg, so the foot has like a joint at the toe, so like the toe piece can be like bent upwards. There's a ball joint at the ankle. There's obviously a joint at the knee, and then the hip is another socket and ball joint. So like the level of posing you can get from it is insane. The hands are pretty much the same. So you've got ball joint at the wrist. You've got like a pivoting joint at the elbow where it'll twist like through 360 degrees, as well as kind of rotate it, or it'll rotate, and you get my drift. It's really, really posable. And then the head options, it's got like that helmeted head, which obviously is designed to kind of go over the pilot's head, or you can actually build it with the pilot's head just kind of poking just through the top, and a cage over the top of its head, which is really, really wicked. So this is for a game called Marcher Empires at War. The rules are free to download. If you just go and Google Marcher Empires at War, you'll find it. There's 3 plastic sets. So there's this, which is the Badger, the Badger hard suit, I think it's called, a mobile suit. And there's 4 of those in the box. And then there's US GI infantry. And then there's US command and veterans in a box. So those are the those are the command, and the 2 at the sides are the command veterans, and the guy in the center there is one of the infantry models. And I think you've got the flag. Yeah, I love the flag.
There we go.
There's 2 options for the flag. You can have like your more traditional stars and stripes, or that flag. And it's set in like a alternate World War II. The guys came to us for plastic production, so the sculpting was all done by those guys. We assisted with the engineering and then the tooling, and obviously the production. They've just fulfilled their Kickstarter, which is for the 3 sets, which we did the fulfillment for them, and then we've got it on sale, available for general public to buy now. And they're just really cool diesel punk Americans. There's a myriad of weapon options. The shoulder pads it's one of my favorite things is the shoulder pads have all got their rank sculpted onto the shoulder pads, as well as then the star on the other side, which is really cool. There's gas mask heads. I don't know if there's any in the photos, unfortunately, but there's gas mask heads, there's bear heads. Obviously on the command frame you've got officer caps and all sorts. It's just a really, really cool set of miniatures that you could use in the Marcher game. They also sell STLs and I think some physical prints of their stuff for the other factions, but they have done a successful Kickstarter for a starter set and an opposing faction to go against the US, which we're in the process of helping them produce. So we're hoping that'll be by the end of this year. Excuse me. And then there'll be a starter set available to buy through Wargames Atlantic and obviously all the retailers that we work with around the world. So yeah, really cool project. It's been received really well. The plastics have been really received really well so far. the guys over at Golden Dragon, I think it is, are really, really good, cool guys. Real small company, but doing really good stuff. The
Excellent.
game looks really interesting. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it looks quite crunchy. You don't need a huge amount of miniatures. I would say it's kind of in the 30 to 40 tops. With obviously, then you've got like your hard suits in amongst all that and stuff. But yeah, it looks really good.
Excellent. No, that's very cool. And then you've obviously we touched on this before. I'm just gonna say, people, now I'm having more fun chatting to Charlie. I don't want to do the news. I don't want to do the
Yeah,
news.
sorry.
There's there's some stuff out. None of it was major that I can think of. People are gonna have a go at me in the chat now, but this is more fun. John will shout at me now for going off script.
Oh,
That's very kind of you.
I know,
I'll
but
take that as a compliment. Thank you.
we shall save that. This is ace. No, I mean, because obviously you've got the digital side, you got the Wargames Atlantic digital, and last time we were on, we chatted about that at length. And how has that developed alongside in the last sort of 18 months? Because I go on there and I keep seeing things, and I have to keep holding myself back from downloading quite a lot. So how has that developed alongside obviously all the physical stuff you're doing?
Yeah, it's obviously most of what happens with the digital team, and I mean, we all bless them. We always refer to them as the digital team. It's actually a bit unfair because they do sculpt a bit of the plastic as well. And where it has developed, which I think is interesting, certainly interesting, I find it interesting, is that in the last 12 months, we've made a concerted effort that whatever they've been doing, and not everything, but now it's pretty much at that point where everything they are doing right now, so since the turn of this year, will be a plastic kit at some point. We kind of have them now kind of almost double hatting, where what they're producing for the tribe and for digital to sell through my mini factory is a future plastic set. We can't say when. Some of it could be years down the road yet, because we already have a huge amount of product backlog, which is really weird. We currently have about 50 molds manufactured where we haven't made a product out of it yet, which is mental. We kind of got a little bit ahead of ourselves on the production side of things at the back end of last year. But it's a pretty cool position to be in. So the digital team have been working more in getting more and more comfortable with sculpting for plastic, because it is different. Sculpting for digital is a lot more forgiving, whereas sculpting for a hard mold that kind of goes together like this in a big machine, it's very unforgiving. We do still have errors. We touched on the French Napoleonic stuff that we did with Piano Wars, and I mentioned that the actual product should have been released about somewhere between sort of 4 and 6 months sooner than it did.
Let's get that up. Let's just chuck that up, because this came, well, for a lot of people, this came left field and kind of was just like bam.
It was really hard to keep it quiet whilst we were waiting to get through some of the issues we were having.
I mean. I mean, I've never seen so many people so happy, and also so many people who have massive Napoleonic collections don't need any more. They don't. I mean, I know we say we never have enough, but we do. Our families tell us. But and then this, just awesome. So how did this come about? Working because we've had Lucas on the stream,
So Lucas actually reached out. If I remember rightly, Lucas reached out to us, and at the same time, we had Sharpe happening actually at around the same time, in terms of we just signed the deal. We hadn't talked to anybody about it, and obviously there will be a Sharpe game, and obviously alongside Sharpe, you need just general Napoleonic stuff. And we were trying to get Lucas to do it, but Lucas came to us with a different idea before we kind of went to him, and Lucas was really keen to to make his own plastics. So where we landed in the end was it was a partnership to do Piano Wars slash Piano War Games slash Wargames Atlantic sets. Where Lucas gets to sculpt and do the thing that he wants to do, and we get some phenomenal plastic Napoleonic to give to the world, and they are, I think, and obviously I'm biased and I can say it unabashedly, they're the best French infantry and greatcoats I think anybody's ever made in plastic. The fact that we've got some skirmishers in there, the options on there. I think what we added to the mix was helping Lucas get a frame that was packed, that had as many options in it as it could, whilst still being a traditional, Napoleonic plastic set. It had to have a minimum of X amount of soldiers in, etc., etc. We have had some people tell us it's the wrong number. And it should be it should be a few more, etc., etc. But it is the right product in my opinion, and it is a beautiful product. But we did have some issues with molding it, and actually, I always say this. I'm a big believer in every cloud has a silver lining. What we stumbled on to fix the issues with the that we were having with molding those, it was the main frame, the large frame. We were getting sinking on different areas of the model where the plastic just wasn't reaching. In the UK shop, this was the US shop actually didn't have any issues with it at all. But albeit we were using the same plastic, when we really got into the technical details of the actual, monomer plastic, the actual chemistry of the plastics, we realized there were some slight differences. And what we discovered was a really cool thing, which you have to forgive my layman's approach to the whole thing because I've been told it by people that know what they're talking about. I asked them to break it down into a term that I can understand. And now what we're using is a replenished plastic. So it comes from a closed loop. So there's no crude oil being used. We're using recycled plastic. So this is the company in the UK, big company that sell washing machines, tumble dryers, etc. online. They have an advert. It's got a really catchy tune, something like "Duh, duh, let's go." I don't want to say who they are because I don't know if I've got permission to do that. But another part of their business is they recycle appliances. So they take everything, they literally strip appliances down for everything that they're worth when they remove them or when they collect them, etc. And there are PVC parts, which then they grind down, but then they go through this replenishment process to make it viable for reuse. Because normally if you take a normal frame, let's say when a mold fails, so something gets broken, it doesn't fill properly, you've got leftover bits, you can regrind that frame and put it back into the machine. But you can only put about 5% of reground plastics into a mix before it would just ruin the mix, and then it wouldn't run like it should.
Right. Okay.
Whereas the replenishment process, it cleans it all up. This is the stuff they wouldn't get into the technical details on. I assume it's proprietary, but they basically clean up the plastic and make it ready for reuse. So they call it replenished plastics. But what they're really keen to stress is it comes from this closed loop. They kept telling me this closed loop thing.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because it means we're not using any, crude oils and stuff like that. Where, it's arguably better for the environment than, getting
that's what
raw
the chat's
materials
saying
in.
at the minute. You got
Yeah.
Dom excited. Sorry, his Napoleonic collection is saving the world. Fantastic. He's
Yes.
he's very happy. Sustainability.
I like
they can
that.
write
Yes.
against the taxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if we can do that yet. I haven't looked into anything like that. I mean, for us, the big win was it was flowing properly, so we were able to make the
Yeah.
French Napoleonics and actually get them out there. And the issue we were having was flow with the original plastic. It just wasn't flowing as well as it should. Whereas this replenished plastic had the correct properties that we were looking for, and when the guys tested it in the factory, it worked a dream. The only major difficulty we had is it's a much lighter grey than what people are normally used to seeing. And the reason sprues are the grey that they are is at that shade, it's like the optimal shade for being able to see the details of the plastic with the human eye. So if you make it darker or you make it lighter, like you'll look at it and you'll think the detail is softer or it's non-existent, whereas it's no different. It's just the color of the plastic. So we do add like a darker color in there at the moment, but we're working on a bit of a long marketing piece to try and kind of explain that, so that says to kind of say to people, look, albeit it is lighter, and the reason it's lighter is because we're using this and it's much better for the environment and so on and so forth. And again, it was one of those things, don't get me wrong, we didn't go out there looking for a product that was better for the environment. we didn't, and it would be wrong of me, it would be immoral of me to suggest that that's what we did. However, we have found this product and it is better for the environment. Now that we've got it, we'll make sure and we'll try our damnedest to stick with it. Because it does feel good then to have a product that we're producing where we know, we're using this replenished plastics, and it is better for it's more sustainable. It is better for the environment.
Something that's come up. We've had other guests and other people on talking. Sustainability is something which people have brought up before, and also going around the shows, you can see it's on people's minds, definitely. So to even have that by accident, you said, like, as you say, he says it, and it's just happened, and now it's something that you can like keep working with as much as you can is great. And Dom beat me to it. I was about to say some of the best ideas happen by accident. So
exactly, And the follow-on phase from that is kind of one of the things I'm trying to tackle at the moment. And this is surprise to Tony, he'll be laughing at home watching this. Is how do we turn used frames into replenished plastic? Because theoretically it's the same stuff. We know we can't regrind it, but is it sustainable to say, hey, out of that box that has 4 frames in, stick it in a jiffy bag, pop it in the post, which then uses fuel, it's using a jiffy bag. I've got to do something with the jiffy bag when it gets to us. If it's got plastic in it, then it's it's going into landfill. It's probably not sustainable to say to people, post your frames back to us. But could we send a load of Wargames Atlantic bins out to clubs and say, just get everybody to throw their frames in it, and then chuck all of that into a big box. That'd be cool. And I could send it to us.
You could see that thing happening though. You could see that kind of thing, happening, and I don't know, people in local shops getting some kind of stamp, or a bit like in your Costa or your coffee shop, turn in 10 frames, get a base or so. It's, you're doing your bit. What I was going to do, if it's okay, because I've just noticed we've racked up quite a lot of questions, and I'm scared about just relaying, just going da. So if we rattle through a few of them, if that's all right, and then some of them I'm sure are going to be short, and some of them are more statements, and some of them are questions. So it's not yet. We'll just roll through some of those.
Sounds good to me.
if you've got any others, just pop them in. Steve, if you've got questions, which is when can I have something grim, something weird, and something drummery, I'm sure we can get there. So first of all, well, Matt, I put it something because Matt said he's working currently on the Baron's War box. Now, so Matt's a commission painter. I believe what someone has done is just sent him the whole box and gone deal with
very
it
nice.
for me.
Yeah.
Trust me, because I chat with Matt a lot. If there was something wrong with it, he would say. I have a regular chat. I know which boxes he likes, which ones he doesn't. So yes, he would definitely let us know. So that's nice.
Thank you, Matt.
Thomas has asked, will Wargames Atlantic ever venture into the American Civil War?
Nothing's off the cards. Absolutely nothing's off the cards. In fact, literally just a few weeks ago, we were talking about the rhythm we want to hit by the end of the year. We have responsibilities now in that. Sounds weird to say that. And to hear it back now, but we have responsibility to make Baron's War stuff now, and to continue making Baron's War stuff. We have responsibility to continue to make Sharpe stuff, to continue to make stuff for classic fantasy battles, to continue to make stuff for the Qua, to continue to make stuff for Deathfields. So we do need to find a rhythm. It's really important that we do find a rhythm soon, so that we're able to keep everybody happy. And the rhythm for some of those things might be once a quarter. For some of those things, it might need to be at least once a month. Classic fantasy battles, when it begins, will need to be at least once a month, if not a couple of things a month to begin with. But the thing we did discuss, and we did agree on that. We need to keep up the randomness. We do need to keep doing that new thing. And Tony's always been very conscious of not doing too many ranges, because you make a range, and once you've given it a name and a brand and a logo, you have that responsibility then to flesh it out. And there are sets that we made years ago, like the Dark Age Irish in the Blood Oaths range, where there isn't anything in there with it yet, but there will be. And the business is growing, and it has grown exponentially since, say, that set was launched. What we're really keen to do is to make sure we are still doing that stuff. We're either adding into those older ranges still, but what you'll probably find is we add into those older ranges now in a bigger way. So there'll be a Blood Oaths game one day that will then justify doing a load of new stuff in that period. But between now and that happening, we might do American Civil War. We might do American War of Independence, or more American War of Independence, I guess.
Yes.
So yeah, it's nothing's off the cards. We're hopefully here for a long time. Hopefully as individuals, myself, Tony, Andy, the rest of the guys are here for a long time yet, and we want to do as much of it as we can.
I think would it be fair? I mean, obviously, I have a business, so I understand how things can change. But once you kind of get to a point where you sort of like you can breathe a sigh of relief and go, I don't think we're going anywhere. I think I think we're here. Obviously, you've always got to be cautious, and you have to be very naive not to be, but sometimes you can just sort of, I don't want to say like you can like rest easy, because you can't when you have a business, whatever that business is. You've got to be prepared for it, but there is a point where you kind of like we're, as you said, you're almost entering phase two. You've kind of like you've established yourselves over the last few years, and you've developed these ranges. You've got ties to some awesome to games and your own games as well, and so you can start obviously that next sort of stage. Right now we're established. Where do we go from here? Because what the guys, because this is where people are just going to throw suggestions and things at you. So the first one was Lionheart said ask you about their ancient Egyptians. I don't know what he wanted me to ask you. He just told me to ask you about
that's fine.
Egyptian plastics.
So there's some imminent. If they are in our Facebook group, they'll have seen the gorgeously painted miniatures by I want to say Stephen Huber, and I'm probably butchering his name, so whether it's Stephen or Stefan, I'm really sorry. But he's painted our Egyptian, I think they're archers and spearmen. We're making so much stuff at the moment that I struggle to keep track of it all.
Yeah.
But they are, I mean, they're imminent. I've had the plastics. I actually sent the plastics to Stephen rather than we sent him. We used to send out STLs to people to paint, but because we've got this huge backlog now, we can send them plastics, which is great. So it means what you see on the box is actually painted plastics rather than painted 3D prints these days, which is cool. So yeah, they'll be tops the next couple of months, but we should have them in hand within the next couple of months.
Excellent. Got some. I guess I class these as suggestions, requests potentially.
Yeah.
So we have this one, which is I'd love some female hoplites that are actually dressed.
Okay.
They're struggling to find some models. Major Clanger, 28mm Napoleonic French light infantry and Hungarian World War II. We'll share something in a second.
Yeah, I mean, a Hungarian World War II is definitely something we've talked about doing. It harks back to that, that original business model of making the things that nobody else seemed willing to do. And Hungarians are definitely kind of up there in that list of potentials, alongside Finns and maybe Belgians, but yeah, Hungarians are definitely up there. French light infantry, we kind of have to because of everything, whether it's with Lucas or whether it's for Sharpe. Who knows?
Just wanted to share that because someone's leaving us, but they just said good night and congratulations, Charlie. So that's
thank you.
Nice one for tuning in. Thank you very much. Ewok Kebab. I love this name. Ewok Kebab. It's such a good name. But modular steampunk automatons. I mean, I suppose that Marcher stuff sort of.
Yeah,
got,
I mean, I'm gonna tease something now, which is a terrible idea, and I might actually get in trouble for this one. We're working on a setting, which will allow us to do some really fun, crazy, silly stuff that could be a Rise of the Machines game. It could be a Rise of the Primates game. It could be so on and so forth.
Okay.
It probably wouldn't be steampunky, if I'm completely honest. It's more likely to be a kind of more modern take on that, like drawing on popular culture. But that's something that's going on in the background that we will probably show more of later in the year. But it's a big umbrella project that will allow us to do some really, really fun stuff that nobody else is really doing. And say to a niche in the industry that's just not being kind of looked at the moment. But for steampunk automatons, Tony has a huge passion for Victorian sci-fi.
Okay, cool.
I can't say for sure that would include steampunk automatons because Tony has a very particular taste of things. And if steampunk automatons don't exist in his idea for it, it just won't exist. It will take some serious persuading.
Kind of vibes.
Yeah. Well, think John Carter. That's
cool. Yeah.
That is very much his Victorian. So I wish I had a photo to show you this. If it's been teased in our last newsletter, which is a Martian-esque warrior, which is absolutely gorgeous and will be the beginnings of a Victorian sci-fi range setting and more than likely game at some point.
I know someone who'd be very, very interested in that. Paul, if you're watching.
They're really beautiful as well. So if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, you need to be because we show some cool stuff in there. And if you're not part of the Facebook group, get over there, because there's a very friendly gentleman that does a great service every Friday when the newsletter gets shared. He's always the first one to get the image that was the teaser and share it into the Wargames Atlantic Legion Facebook group.
Yes.
And he's created like this job for himself, because if he doesn't do it, there's outroar of like, where's the teaser photos?
Where's the teaser? No, absolutely.
So
No,
yeah,
that's-
possibly,
yeah.
certainly possible.
Awesome. I'll roll through a couple more, and then we'll go on to some of the other stuff that you sent. So someone asked if there's any news on Dark Age Cavalry.
It's in the same boat as the Egyptians. It will be very, very soon. I'm sure, again, if they're in the Legion, Stephen took some absolutely gorgeous photos with those. They were eye-wateringly beautiful. And it's a great set. Really, really cool, versatile. More capes. I don't know if you've played with the Dark Age Irish. But there's the kind of, and they just look wicked. They're so good. So very, very soon. It's one of these...
Awesome.
50-odd molds that we've got that we just haven't released yet, which will be out soon.
Okay, nice. Also, and then he's got two more. This one here from David. Do you have anything further planned for the general accoutrements range, like he thinks the sorcerer's spoils and the markets and barricades, which are obviously the ones in the that you get in the box as well. The barricade books are brilliant. So have you got anything more sort of?
Yes,
kind
definitely.
Of lines?
There's tons of bases that we've made that, again, we haven't released yet. So if anybody's had the 25mm textured bases, there's 40mm textured bases done. They come with the Marcher robots, but they'll be available separately. There's 32mm textured bases as well, because, I mean, why wouldn't we do 32mm textured bases when certain spacefaring soldiers in armored suits all stand on them? And I'm a big fan of our textured bases. Like, I know they're just it's the equivalent of sand and grit, but sculpted plastic. But it just saves an entire job of having to get the brush in the PVA and dip them in and fanny about and and then cleaning the glue off the brush. And you've always got to use an old brush and blah blah blah. And
that's such a good tagline. Now you don't have to fanny about.
It's what it should have said on the box.
No fannying around. There we go.
No fannying around. Yeah. I'm worried now that I'm not allowed to say that.
No.
But yes, I really want us to do a modern like scatter terrain, like a modern barricade set. So like the medieval barricades, but a modern version that you can either just make the bits separately as like bits of scatter, or you can put them all on a base. Rob did that really cool thing where he made that base where you can either build the parts separately and they're just part of your market, or you stick them together on this little base and they form a barricade. So we'll hopefully do that with moderns. We've got some shipping containers coming out very soon, which will fall in the general accoutrements range. 20-foot shipping containers, perfectly to scale. They are, because we've had people go, are they to scale? And then measure them and then do the maths. It's like, yeah, they are literally 20-foot containers at 28mm scale.
Excellent.
So there's those. If Pete wants to keep making stuff like the Sorcerer's Spoils and things, we'll keep doing that with Pete too. There will be plenty more stuff in that.
Yeah, I reckon almost you could do like markets and barricade, like World War II, because I know at 15mm there's other ones, but just essentially the same thing, just modernized market, just 1940s, but just barricades, so you can because everyone needs them sort of in their games, and also exactly. People just like to build them up and use them as scatter.
We have got some sci-fi barricades coming, but they are
excellent.
They don't make a market or anything, they are just barricades. They've got cool little legs that you can kind of like raise the barricade up and down if you want to. So you can either have it sat flush to the ground, or you can have it like just slightly above the ground to elevate its height.
I think
that's pretty cool.
They're quite cool.
Modern scatter is so versatile, though. With the current range, there's so many sort of modern day or near future. And
Yeah.
simple things like shipping containers. I think
Well,
they
and like jerry cans and
exactly
oil
barrels.
drums
Yes,
date all the way back to World
exactly.
War II if you wanted to, right?
Yep.
You know, like it is a no-brainer. Bags of rubbish, you know, like
Yeah.
just a sack, black
So if you
bin
could, 'cause
bag, you know.
I tried making my own out of a black bag. Literally,
I've
I was
seen
sat
people
there with a
do
piece-
that. Yeah,
I've not got the patience. I was sat there
No.
with I got cotton.
yeah. I will make them in plastic. It's fine.
That's it. Just for Steve. Yeah, if you could just keep the man
It
happy.
saved my sanity.
Yeah,
There you go.
It's just
That's
a
the-
no-brainer. Trash cans and trash. You could just do a whole
Yes.
frame of different sizes of trash.
There definitely seems to be a sort of consensus here in the chat where people are saying, "I can't wait to see how Charlie is going to drain my bank account." Martin, what will I be buying at Salute this year, Charlie?
Oh, man, I don't know what. We'll have something for everybody. Is all I'll say.
Exactly. Well, what I'll do for the moment, let's hide those for a minute because Charlie has kindly sent over a couple of other things for us to take a look at. We'll save the other thing, but of course now these have been now you sent us over this. Now these actually sort of the other sets you've done have got picked up. I've seen quite a lot of people in the group working on stuff like this. So these are the French Resistance partisans, the female ones.
Part 2, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot in there.
really, there is a lot. Yeah, really excited about it. It's something we wanted to do for ages, and certainly after doing the first set. And you'll have seen with the Pulp Adventures range. We did the Survivors 1 and 2. Wherever we can, we will we'll do male and female. It's always good to do them on separate frames because it means you get more for each. So we can add more stuff on for females if we do a dedicated frame. The Agents is a funny one where like I think there's 3 female and 3 male agents. And then obviously you've essentially got half the parts work with one half and half the parts work with the other half. But this is just a no-brainer product. You know, we've got the male resistance. We've now got the female resistance. I think they're loads of fun. I think Chris did a gorgeous job of painting and photographing them again.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
They look excellent. Whenever I use partisans, I suck basically when I use them. I just can't. They're looking a bit. You know, there's so many games that these are useful. Obviously, you know, you got like because you guys did the plastics in. You have the German centuries, don't you?
For Graham's yeah.
And so partisans and that these look awesome.
Yeah, really pleased with those. And so they're going on sale this Friday too. So they are the warehouse, in both warehouses right now, waiting to be shipped out. So they'll go on sale on Friday, and they'll be shipping on Monday.
I'll pop this one up because Red said, would it be Eastern Front partisans like in the future?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. It's not in the works right now, but you know. It is a no-brainer, you know. One day we might even have a World War II game to stick them in. But yeah, I think we've hit a chord with the partisans, and the reception to the female partisans has been pretty good as well. So yeah, it would kind of fit for that to be one of the future World Ablaze sets, as it were.
That's awesome. That's very, very cool. I've just lost the ability to get rid of the photo. There we are. I couldn't find it. I couldn't work out inside the photo. So where's it going? No, that's very cool. I mean, I'll pop this question up just and then I think we'll do the other thing. But Chris has said, I know we kind of talked about this a little bit, and I guess it's kind of but I think just Jerry, how long does it take to go from an idea to shipping it? Realistically, do you think, like, if you didn't have the say you've got all those kits that are sitting there waiting for backlog, what would be sort of the scale
if there was nothing getting in the way, and it was a good, and we have done this before. I'm trying to think of a product we've gone. In fact, what we're about to show is just this type of product where it has gone from flash to bang really, really quickly. The only delay we had with this one was we had some engineering issues. So engineering is the bit that happens kind of between the sculptor and the actual mold being made. We kind of call it the engineering period, where we have engineers that take the 3D files that the sculptor has produced and make sure they will work in a mold. And sometimes they have to make changes to the sculpts. And the changes that we're having to make to what we're about to look at, obviously then meant it had to go back to the sculptor to just refine those bits, because it was really important that it looked exactly how we wanted it to look. However, saying that, if you don't have those issues, if it goes quite quickly, we can have a product. Sculpting can take, I would say with the right sculptor, a week to 2 weeks.
Okay.
That would be for a kind of full frames full of parts. In fact, let's go back a little bit further. You've got to create a brief. So the brief can take a few days, depending on what it is, and how much research and how much knowledge the individual has to create the brief. And then the brief goes to the sculptor. Sculptor takes about 2 weeks. There'll often be a couple of revisions, but the revisions usually happen within days max, sometimes the same day, because they've been working on it for a good 2 week period. They're very familiar with the parts. Tweaks can be done really quickly. Engineering then tends to take, engineering can be as quick as a few days, assuming the sculptor knows what they're doing. They're sculpting for plastic, which most of our guys do. So engineering can take let's say a week. So we're looking at we're probably about 3.5, 4 weeks at that point. The cutting of the mold takes about 2 weeks, using really fine tipped drill bits or lasers. Lasers if it's really fine detail, but to be fair, the fine tipped bits do the job. Lasers last longer, cost more. Drill bits break, have to be replaced. Mid tooling and stuff. Yeah. So that takes about 2 weeks. So we're sitting at about 6 weeks. Takes about a week to get the tool. Tops really a week, tends to be about 5 days to get the tool from the workshop to the factory, and then we can run a few thousand frames in a couple of days.
Wow.
In that time, the box. So theoretically, as soon as the STLs are finished, you can send the STLs off to a painter and they could paint them. We would have also commissioned artwork at that point. So again, Marco, who does most of our artwork these days, but Peter Dennis previously. Peter still does some, but Marco, his protege, tends to do the majority of it. They are incredibly fast, usually turn around a piece if it's just 2 characters within a week. If it's a battle scene, it's a couple of weeks. And I assume that's probably alongside other work too. But that will all happen in sequence whilst all the other bits is happening. So we'd run the plastics. Sometimes the factory boxes it up, and sometimes the warehouse boxes it up. It just depends. It's always done by the factory in the US, in the UK. Now we've got the issue of having to ship the mold from the UK to the US to run. So that adds on about a week. On average. Like I say, we have had some instances where molds get stuck in customs, but all being well, and mostly it's over there within a few days. So let's say a week. So what does that put us on? About 7 weeks. We probably, if we had a clear run and there was nothing going wrong and nothing getting in the way, we could probably have a product from concept to in hand on shelves 3 months. And we have done it before. We are about to do it again with the thing you're about to reveal.
That's a nice segue.
That was you're still planning to do that right now.
Yeah, that was a good segue. Let's do it now. There you go.
Do it now.
That was a good segue. Right. Let's bring him out. So
which one
I'm
are you
just
going to
put
pick?
him up and
Which one?
I'm going to probably the one where he's looking at the screen. I just put up in London. Let's pop him up. There he is.
Yay.
There he is. Rifleman Harris. My favorite,
Nice.
hands down, my favorite. And this one has been a real quick turnaround because I really, 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 really want to get this to Salute. This one has been painted as STLs. That's on its way to the UK right now from New Zealand. The test shots are going to arrive at my house any day now so that I can just test the parts. Once the parts have been tested, that's when the mold gets released from the workshop to go to the factory. Again, like I say, that takes about 5 days. They'll then be able to run the plastic. I believe the box is either designed or it will be designed and then can go to the printers. Printer takes about 2 weeks tops. So if we're really, really lucky, we will have some of Rifleman Harris at Salute.
I love that he's got the book, the little Voltaire.
Yeah. And what was really, really cool about this one is I reached out to Jason, the actor, last year to talk about doing some stuff about Sharpe together, and said, look, we will be making a figure. It's probably going to be the third figure in the schedule. Obviously we've got the license of the license company, but Bill also reached out to Jason to kind of get his input. I kind of started the ball rolling and said, look, Jake, send me some photos of, like, from the which ones, what kind of pose, have you got any favorite photos, etc., you would like from that first episode. So he sent a bunch of stuff over. I sent that through Tony to Bill, and then Bill reached out to him directly to just make sure he was, he liked the way it was going, and do you have any suggestions, anything you wanted to do. So Jason's been involved in the process, which is really cool.
Nice.
Jason is actually joined. I'm going to drink. Sorry, my bad. Jason's actually joining us at Salute.
Awesome.
And will be on the Wargames Atlantic stand. He'll sign books. He'll sign some products. Bless him. Hopefully there'll be some Rifleman Harris boxes there for him to sign. And yeah, he's just an absolute diamond of a guy. Really, really lovely. And hopefully we'll do a lot more with him as we start to kind of bring a sharp game to life into the tabletop. But yeah, this is Bill's done an amazing job with the face. It really does look like a young Jason. Particularly that one, I think, is fantastic.
That one, yeah, it would, yeah. That is
the curls,
very, very cool. So I think that. Oh, I don't know. Again, I would struggle. I don't know which one.
Yeah, just buy 2 boxes.
Just buy two boxes. One for show and one for
one for show.
Yeah. No, it's very cool. The details on that are all awesome. They are really, really nice. So I guess as well, I'll just leave this on the screen because you guys you've got a big stand at Salute this year, haven't you?
We do, yes.
You've got your sort of you're down near the front, aren't you?
Right at the front, yeah. We've produced the Salute miniature this year in plastic, obviously, because it's Wargames Atlantic. So that'll be available on the day. We have actually just agreed today, charity to be confirmed, but the Salute miniature will be available to buy via wargamesatlantic.com for the Salute period. And the profits from the sales of that will all go to a charity to be confirmed. Just need to make sure the guys at Salute get some input on the charity of choice. But it's the first time that I'm aware the Salute miniature will be available to buy outside of getting it at Salute. There he is, Saladin.
There he is.
Looking very mighty on his steed.
He does, yes. I feel like I need this for my Seljuks and for my for my forces, for my crusade stuff.
Yeah,
which is good because I'll be going to Salute, so he'll be winging his way onto my table.
If they run out, we may have some spare on our stand. If not, like I say, he will be available online, and this we'll just produce however many we need to fulfill any orders that come through for the figure over that period.
So for Salute, just because we've been through, so because you've got Sharpe, you've now this Friday Harper's on sale.
Yeah.
And then you're hoping, and it
Sharpe
should be,
is back in stock, which is great.
Sharpe's in stock. So you could so at Salute you could do Sharpe, Harper, and Harris.
We could indeed, yes.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, that's going to be problematic.
We're doing Hagman next as well.
Don't say it. I was waiting for Perkins. I thought it was going to be like Perkins.
We've got to do Perkins, right? Like it's without doubt we have to do Perkins.
Perkins, or just like Harper carrying him. That would be
I think so. I think Hagman's next, and then it's so hard to pick because we're all desperate to do Obadiah.
Yeah.
I want to do Hogan. Really, really want to do Hogan. It's really difficult to choose. So what we will hopefully do is start speeding up as well with all of the Sharpe stuff. Harper was finished ages ago. We got really carried away last year making molds. You talked about the period where you kind of things change the business.
Yeah,
you just get to a point where I wouldn't say you're out of the woods, because I don't think you're ever really completely out of the woods. We're not a business with a huge war chest. We rely on the sales of products to pay for what we're doing next all the time. But we did get to the point where the pain point used to be the cost of a mold. So we'd have to save up to make a mold. And then last year the pain point stopped being that. So we made more molds, but then what you do realize is the pain point to produce enough stock to launch the product successfully is now a lot more expensive than it used to be, because we have hundreds, nearly thousands of retailers around the world that we supply to. We have a huge number of loyal customers that buy from us direct, and we need to produce thousands of each frame on launch in order to give us enough stock to last for 6 weeks. And it costs a lot of money. The plastic game's great in that the profits on plastic are infinitely better than they are on white metal and resin, etc. It's faster to produce. You can produce more quickly, but it's kind of it's a victim of its own success in that, because it is that most premium product. It's weird to call it premium because I think a lot of people do, but really it's what most hobbyists that are coming from the mecca that is Games Workshop, it's what they expect. But if you've got it in plastic, it does make a huge difference to people's interest. When Baron's War had a full plastic starter set, we saw the Baron's War Facebook group grow from 12,000 to, I think it's well north of 17. It might actually even be pushing 19,000 people in that Facebook group now, as a metric without getting into sales figures, etc., etc. So we have this huge backlog of molds, because to produce each of them as a successful launch costs us tens upon tens of thousands of dollars to actually put the product into the world. So unfortunately we're having to pace ourselves and be strategic, but the silver lining to that is we have a bunch of product now that's made, or the design and the tooling and stuff is all done. It doesn't mean we're not going to make anything new, because we have to. We've got Baron's War monks that we're in the process of sorting out. We've got outlaws, which I don't think I've talked about anybody yet, but we've got an outlaws set coming. We've got Welsh, we've got Scots, we've got... I saw one of the questions on Facebook was, what is Men at A? It's Men at Arms 2, or it's Sergeants 2 Men at Arms. So it's basically another part, a box of sergeants that are more appropriate for the other factions, the Flemish, the mercenaries, the Poitevin, the Barbican stuff. But we'll still mix into a feudal European retinue, no problem. It just adds all the things that you don't get but would want on Sergeant 1.
Yeah.
So we've got all of those to do for Baron's War. We've got loads of stuff planned for classic fantasy battles, trolls, giants, more elves, more skeletons, heroes, etc., to do for that. We want to start making some Deathfield stuff again. So all the stuff that kind of is in the works is all
Yeah.
going to be, intertwined with new stuff being added. But it means we've been able to take more time over the new stuff because we've got this huge back catalogue of stuff to release.
It's
Yeah.
It's just mad. He's great. He's great too, but it's a phenomenal amount of stuff and headspace and juggling.
Yes.
But it is very cool. I'll just put my vote for Sir Henry Simerson, please, as a Simerson.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Simerson, please.
I've watched the Simerson scene over the weekend.
You know what? It's probably one of the most asked for characters.
Yeah,
an absolute git.
Yes,
he is absolutely. I got you. I was going to ask you because I saw a couple of questions on the War Games when you shared the post, and I think I just wanted to make sure that I asked him because I thought this was quite a cool question. So Javier asked, do you have any plans to release army boxes for the classic fantasy battle sets, things with the bone blade, skeleton cavalry, and skeleton archers, and then sort of off the back of that, do you have any plans to release your? Because obviously we haven't even touched on the 10mm Agincourt stuff yet. Like, do you have any plans with those to release sort of smaller sets like you did for the classic fantasy stuff?
Yes. So we're definitely going to take the components from Agincourt and make smaller sets of each of the frames. That's definitely happening. What we'll probably do is wait until we need to rerun the plastics for the starter sets, and then just double up on production and do the individual boxes around that time. So sometime in the next 3 to 6 months tops. And then for classic fantasy battles, yes. I mean, we've come at classic fantasy battles in a very Wargames Atlantic way, in that we made some cool plastic 10mm orcs with the idea that we might make a game, and then by the time they were out, Andy had started to work for Wargames Atlantic, and we decided we definitely would make a game. Andy wrote some rules over a year ago, and we play tested them. It was great. And then we did lots of other stuff between then and now. And then he started to finish those rules off at the kind of back end of that last year, the beginning of this year. And those rules will be available to see at Salute. So there'll be a big demo table for classic fantasy battles.
That answers 6 of the questions that I had.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. That's ace.
At Salute. So yes. So there will be a starter set. It will be orcs versus dwarves. The rules Andy's written are, in my opinion, and I've got to stress, I think Deathfields is one of the most innovative, fun, exciting games to play. I was a lot more heavily involved in the development of that, so I'm very, very biased. However, what Andy's done with classic fantasy battles is the most perfect meld of old school and new school, rank and file wargaming. It feels so poetic as you kind of read through it, and you pick up where the influences have come from, and you're kind of going back in time to kind of modern wargaming, and then back in time again, and you have this really lovely mashup of old meets new for what is, I do believe, a really exciting rank and file war game.
So does that mean at some point there could be like a battle set with rules and some
orcs versus dwarves will be a battle set. It will be a very affordable battle set as well, because we've it's all been built out of what's going to go in there. the two opposing armies, what they would look like. It does use the existing sets, but we're probably going to rebox those existing sets into two army boxes that will replicate what's in the starter set. And then there will be army boxes combining all of the skeleton frames together for a skeleton army box. But what I really like about Classic Fantasy Battles is there's two factions. There's good versus evil. Like, think Horde versus Alliance for any of the World of Warcraft fans out there. You very much could have an orc army if you want, but you could take an orc army and supplement it with whatever from the evil faction you want, whether it's
Chuck
just
some
some
undead in there,
skeleton spearmen, or some goblin rabble, or some trolls, or whatever. What we're trying to lean into is that that total customization. Have fun, put whatever you want on the table, and just have these two massive armies collide and start tearing bases off each other.
That's awesome. So that'll be, you're gonna have. You said that the rules ready. Will you have any demos going at Salute of the?
Yeah, there'll be a big demo table at Salute. So we've, as you said, we've got a big stand. There'll be 4 demos running. There'll be Classic Fantasy Battles. There'll be Quar Clash of Rifles. There'll be Baron's War, and there'll be Deathfield's Arena. There'll be plenty of people there to talk to. So Josh Qualtieri, the creator of the Quar, will be there. Andy will be there. As I mentioned, we've got Jason on the stand. We've also got Peachy on the stand doing some painting stuff. And Marco Caparoni, the painter, the traditional painter, is also going to be on the stand doing concept artwork and stuff.
Very cool. That's a lot.
So there'll be tons for people to come and see. We are right at the entrance, so as you come through, you won't be able to miss us. There'll be a gigantic 6 meter by 2 meter Wargames Atlantic logo behind that kind of is the backdrop for the stand. As well as a load of flags that announce the different demos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's very cool. I'm really looking forward to Salute. Every year I start getting very, very excited about this time. So I've started putting my list together of where I want to
share that excitement. Yes, definitely.
It's very cool. I mean, that is so awesome. I'm sorry, I keep on looking at the picture. Obviously, I don't have to throw it up on the screen because every time, but I keep on looking at the Harris with the
yeah. Fingers crossed. Everybody, awesome. Cross your fingers. We'll have Harris there. I mean, the painted miniature will be there. There'll be at least some frames for people to look at, but hopefully, we will have a product there for people to purchase as well. Worst case, you'll have to settle for Sharpe and Harper.
That's it. I went to see Wargames Atlantic. I walked away with Saladin, Harris, Harper, Sharpe, and some classic fantasy battles. I can see people shopping baskets. That is awesome. I just have a quick little scoot from here because I appreciate rather than do the news and things where people normally get a breather. I've probably been a bit mean and just kept on poking you with a stick and said, let's talk about it. Honestly, I really don't mind. It's so much. Other things that people have put forward, just for I guess things people like to see are ACW infantry in greatcoats. Something that people like. Where was the other one? I think Gwyndor. I think we actually touched this. Is there any plan to expand the Baron's War to cover the 1400s or the 100 Years' War? I mean, I suppose that's a little bit further outside.
I mean, obviously, I can't speak for what Andy, has planned outside of what I know. We've got King John coming, which really is going to change the current kind of setting and expand it massively. We have another book planned for later in the year, touch wood, all being well, which will add further to the period, but go backwards in time ever so slightly. But we'll add a load of new rules, different ways to play the game, campaign system, etc. And then there's plans to do Outremer. There's plans to do the Northern Crusades. and like the Eastern princes and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be cool.
there's the Anarchy, which kind of sits somewhere between, the kind of Viking era and then the Barons' War era.
I do see a
Um,
lot of people commenting about the anarchy and
yeah,
people like that. It's a weird. The armor changed from sort of like the Norman, how we look at the Norman knights, because they kind of end up with these full chainmail suit, like chainmail trousers almost,
yeah.
and slightly different helmets before just tipping over into into essentially the range that you have now.
Yes, yeah. Well, I
That's
think
something
the
that I
way
think
Andy
is
summarizes it, we just need to make a few sets of Normans and we can do the anarchy.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's these
That's
exact words he's used a few times now.
That's
So
that's absolutely fair. I just want to see, where is it? Oh, we had this one. Which I wanted. I have to chap in a bit. There's a chap who said he wanted to pass on his thanks to you because you made an old man very happy, so he's finally able to start his Austerlitz
I
project.
can't take too much credit if I'm completely honest. It was Tony and Lucas were very much on the French. That was the Napoleonics, was it? Sorry, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I should say this one. Will Saladin be available from the US?
Yes, it won't be. Unfortunately, it won't be available. It won't be shipping from the US. It will be shipping from the UK. So there probably will be postage. We don't obviously we have free postage quite low thresholds. There probably will be postage for US customers because it'll be shipping from the UK. But if we'll find a way of making that as low as humanly possible. But unfortunately, it is going to have to ship from the UK.
Okay.
Just logistics, the mold, the fact that we'll be doing it as a charitable thing, which means it kind of needs to stay. So there is two businesses now. There's Wargames Atlantic LLC and there's Wargames Atlantic UK Ltd.
Right.
And because it'll be a charitable donation, it'll be done via the UK business, and it just for logistics and tax and boring stuff that nobody wants to have to deal with, including myself, even though I have to. It needs to go from the UK. But yes, you will be able to purchase it. You might just have to pay a bit of shipping. So just stick some extra stuff in your cart
Awesome.
and lump it all in together, and the shipping feels not as bad then.
Like this chap. So Lord Katka just want to say he's so crazy about Baron's Law, he bought a second starter box 2 weeks.
Good
ago.
Man. Good
man.
That's commitment. He has followed up with a really quick one. I guess this is just a yes or no question. Is there plans for war terrain stuff for the Baron's Law, since without a 3D printer, decent terrain is currently
Yes, we are. We're definitely planning to do terrain for the Barons' War. We've talked about it to death behind closed doors. We've got a team of great sculptors. We just need to dedicate somebody to just producing some modular hovels. There's a grand scheme to do something quite a bit larger on the whole thing, which could be really cool. I'm on the fence as to whether it'll actually be a thing, but worst case, there'll be some modular hovels and stuff at some point, as well as obviously stone walls and things to go with it. So yes, there is a plan.
I think you've made a lot of people very, very happy, including me.
That is genuinely. That is Aris again, yes. It's why we do what we do. I mean, I won't say it's like every job has its hardships, and running a business is tough. And Tony takes the weight of all the major responsibilities, the bank balance. I probably get to do more fun stuff than Tony does. But and this comes from Tony, like he is hands down one of, if not the nicest men I've ever met in my life. I have a privilege to know, and I hope I will work with him until he retires, because I probably won't retire at the same time as him. I don't. He's got 10 years on me. But he's a lovely guy, and we have a passion for selling and manufacturing. Like we have to sell product to stay alive. I'm a salesman at heart. Tony's a salesman as well as a production guy. But what we endeavor to do is do it the right way. Like we're not making stuff for the sake of making it. We're not making it because we're not just making it for the money. We make it because we want it to be fun. We want, like, what we make, we look and think, oh, that's the best thing we could have made. That's really fun to build. There's loads of fun options on that. And I think the word that shines through is really simple, is that we're trying to make fun. We're selling fun. We're selling toy soldiers to people that have to find disposable income to pay for it. It's not a necessity. It's something that people choose to do.
Well, this chap. So Thomas is he's fine because he's got his student loan, so he's
definitely. Look, you'll have so many more memories from toy soldiers than you will nights out, and I can testify to that. You won't remember half of the nights out, and the ones you do won't be the ones you want to remember either. Buy more toy soldiers. But yeah, like it's what we're trying to do, and hopefully every time somebody buys a box, they get a bit of fun out of it. And like behind closed doors, it can be a bit of a grind sometimes. Particularly when you want to just want to get product out there, but you can't for whatever reasons, whether it's customs, whether it's something's gone wrong in the factory, whether it's just we actually got carried away with ourselves and made too many molds last year. But outwardly, hopefully the product that lands in everybody's laps and everybody's hands gives them a bit of joy. Like that's kind of I always feel guilty saying it's why we do it, because I'm very aware that the reason we do it is so that I can pay my mortgage and feed my kids and pay my bills and buy some toy soldiers that we don't make, because I do that too sometimes. But we do it because we want people to enjoy it, because otherwise what's the point? Like, what's the point in making toy soldiers if the desire isn't that people are going to pick them up and enjoy playing with them?
I think that enthusiasm, like from as you've shown tonight, if you're enthusiastic about what you're doing and your products and the rules that you're making, is that will that helps people get involved with your company and with your product. There are some companies where people, I never understand it, but they don't seem that enthusiastic about the stuff that they're doing, and then you're asking other people to be enthusiastic on your behalf, and you're kind of like, you don't really seem that excited about your own stuff. Like, that
definitely comes across. I mean, it's difficult to hide that. If a company's doesn't have that level of enthusiasm for their own product, or it's going to come through. And for some companies it does show. It does show. But I think with Wargames Atlantic, just from, like I say, speaking to yourself, just the community in general, on the Facebook group, and long may it continue.
Yeah, well, touch wood, fingers crossed, all that sort of stuff. We're still here doing it, and we're enjoying it, and I'm blessed. The company's going from strength to strength. It's not without its trials and tribulations, and it's not without design. We all work really hard to make it grow and to make it work. But it would be a waste of effort if people didn't enjoy it, because if they wouldn't enjoy it, they wouldn't buy it. So
absolutely, no, that's awesome. Well, you're always welcome on here to just come and chat about.
I genuinely can't believe it's been a year and a half.
I know. No, I was like, no, I know it was before Baron's War, but it must have only been like a month before Baron's War. And I looked at it, it was like, oh my god, no,
shocking.
It's been a genuine pleasure to have you here tonight.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be back.
To join us. It's absolutely awesome. I know that there were so many questions in the chat. Hopefully we've covered it. I know there'll be stuff that I missed. Guys, go and just check out the Facebook page Wargames Atlantic and Wargames Atlantic Legion. Also, you can go to their website, and if you're going to Salute, go to their stand. You'll probably, I'm not part of their stand. I'll probably be sniffing around there quite a lot.
Please do.
I want to see.
The more the merrier.
That is absolutely awesome. We are taking a break next week because Dom and Ken will be jet lagged if Ken was going to be on anyway. I'm off to Derby at the weekend for Carry On Cracking. So the only person who's not going to be tired is Steve. And we thought it'd be easier just to have a break. We're going to be back the following week, and I think we're on Steve's channel that week. And then you'll be getting a rundown on Adepticon and all of that. And that's the show before Salute. I think that's the bank holiday Monday.
It will be,
is the one we're back. So that's the one where essentially we're going to talk about everything Dom spent at Adepticon, and I'm going to talk about everything I'm going to spend at Salute. So that's the plan. But yeah, once again, Charlie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For taking the time to visit. It's been absolutely awesome. Otherwise, guys, we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Over on Steve's channel, but be remember to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and we'll see you guys again soon. So take care of yourselves. Bye bye.
See you, everybody.